Hello all, welcome back to Selenium interview questions series. Right, previous session we have seen 1 to 20 questions. In this session we'll see 21 to 40. Again one more set. Right, these are the mostly right we can expect in interviews. Right, these questions. Right, just to prepare. Right, just I am giving a high level right theory about it, and when we will get how to resolve, right, based on scenario based questions and theoretical questions, practical, right, just practice these questions. These are all enough, but we need to practice, that's it. Right, first question, how do you handle dynamic elements in Selenium? Right, we can use weights, right, explicit weight, fluent weight, right, we can use, and a try and catch block to handle stale element reference exception, wait for element to be clickable. Right, if element is clickable, we want to wait for to click, we can use wait for clickable, JavaScript executor for stable interaction with the elements. Right, wait for the elements to be present in the DOM. Right, use dynamic XPath or CSS. Right, this is the sample XPath. Right, we can use contains or starts with. In CSS also we can use right, starts with ends with contains, right, those things. Then how do you handle CAPTCHA in Selenium? Right, Selenium we cannot right, by using Selenium we cannot right, handle the CAPTCHAs. We can use third-party services like two CAPTCHA. Right, some of them are free or maybe we have to pay it. Right, how do you handle file upload? Right, we can use right, if it is a input element, input tag, suppose upload button is a input tag, directly we can use send keys. Suppose send keys is not working, we have to dependent on right, a robot, right, we have a robot class or auto AT. Right, whenever we will click on the button, what will happen? It will pop up the Windows based application. Right, right, to handle those things, Windows based application Selenium cannot handle. By using robot class or auto AT we can handle it. What is page object model? Right, page object model is like a design pattern, right, that helps to maintenance and the reusability of the automation. Right, mainly page object model by using we can maintain and reuse. It involves, right, in page object model what we will do, we will create each right page, we will create a separate page and a test class, right, separate test class, so that what is the advantages we can get? Code reusability, better maintenance, and the separation of the concerns. Right, we can separate locators and the test logic differently. Improved readability. Right, sorry. Right, code reusability, better maintainability, separation of the concern, improve readability. Right, okay, by using page object model, we can achieve all these right advantages. But how do you implement the page object model? Sample code. We can use find by right at the rate find by annotation. Right, page factory. Right, we can use page factory dot init elements. This is the we need to add, otherwise these find by elements will not initialize. We have to call page factory dot init elements in the right. We have to call this, otherwise it will not initialize. And then that is a sample, just a sample application. We can each page we can create login page and login test. Right, what is TestNG and why it is used in Selenium? Right, TestNG is what? Testing framework. Right, testing unit testing framework. Right, inspired by JUnit and NUnit. Right, it is right, it is designed to test functionality of the application. Right, it will provide a lot of features. We will have a different types of annotations. Right, we can execute parallel, dependency management, data driven testing by using data provider, right? Automatic test reports, it will generate some HTML reports, flexible test execution, we can group, prioritize, exclude, include tests, right? There are a lot of features in the test engine, right? Because of that we will use, compared to JUnit, right? Test engine has more powerful features. How do you run a Selenium test in parallel using test engine? Right, here important thing is parallel we can give methods or test, right, or classes, right, we can give instances also. Mostly we will use parallel methods or tests, right. If we have a multiple modules, right, test tag, this is one test tag, this is one, two test tag. If I want to run these test cases one thread, these test cases one thread, right, then parallel test thread count 2. So that what will happen, I have given thread count 2, it will pick one test case from here, one test case from here, it will execute parallelly. It will execute parallelly. Suppose if I give methods, what will happen? All the methods will execute, two methods will execute first in the first test tag, next second test tag. Right, based on our requirement, project requirement, and how we want to handle, right, based on that we will use parallel. A parallel attribute, thread count attribute, by using we can run test cases parallel. How do you handle browser pop-ups in Selenium? Right, browser pop-ups to handle, right, to handle this we have a, right, alert class, right, driver dot switch to alert, driver dot, whenever we will click any button or link, right, it will give alerts. Then we can either accept, dismiss, or we can also enter or get a text, right. What are the things we have? Driver dot switch to dot alert, we will get alert, either we can dismiss or accept or send keys or get a text. All right, these four methods we will have. Authentication pop-ups, how do you handle basic authentication pop-ups? Suppose sometimes whenever, right, we need to send, while sending URL itself we have to send some authentication, right. How we will send HTTPS username colon password at the rate example. This is some example URL, right. Then driver dot get URL open, while opening the URL itself we have to give the username password, so that we will handle such type of authentications. File upload pop-ups, right. File upload pop-ups, just we have seen I think previously. Directly we can use send keys if it is a input tag, otherwise we have to use a robot class or auto ID, right. How do you integrate Selenium with Jenkins, right? This is a, right, mostly asked question, right. First we have to download the Jenkins from the Jenkins WAR file, right, WAR file from the website, and run it, right. We can use java-jar, that name of the file, it will start it and install. Then it will ask for some plugin installation, we can install. It will start on the localhost 8080, right. Then we can go to manage Jenkins, we have to install some plugins, Maven plugin, test engine plugin, right. If we are using Allure plugin, means Allure plugin, HTML for extend reports, HTML publish, these are all we need to install these plugins. Then go to Jenkins global tool configuration, we have to do JDK setup and Maven setup, we have to do JDK and Maven setup also. Then once it is done, we can go to dashboard, click on new item, either we can create, if we are using Maven project we can create Maven, otherwise freestyle project, and mostly we will go with Maven project. Then after opening, right, once we click on the create, then we have to provide the Git repository URL, or if you want to test from local we have to give the path of the form file, right. Git to provide the credentials, right. Then again build section, right, we have to select the top level Maven target, we have to give clean text, just we can give clean text. If we have any environment variable, provide it. To show extend report or HTML report in the report, right, in the Jenkins, we have to install the HTML publisher plugin in the Jenkins. Then after post build action, right, in the right, while creating Jenkins job post build action, we can select publish HTML report, and a report directory we have to give the report directory and file name, right. Then it will show in the each build, it will show in the Jenkins job, right, like this. This is the high level, just I have explained. How do you run Selenium text on headless mode? If you want to run in headless mode, Chrome browser -headless. For Firefox and Edge also we can give -headless. Chrome options we have to create Edge option, Firefox option, Safari. We can give -headless. Send the options to while creating driver object. That's it. Then if you run, it will run in a headless mode without opening the browser. Then what is the advantage? Our test cases will run very fast. How do you verify if an element is displayed on the page or not? Right, very simple only, right? Driver.findElement is displayed, then it will display. Either if it is displayed, it will return true, otherwise false. How do you verify if checkbox is selected or not? Right, driver.findElement is selected. If it is selected, it will return true, otherwise false. Right, checkboxes we must be very careful. Right, already selected. If we click it again, what will happen? It will unselect. If it is unselected, if we click it, what will happen? It will check. So before doing check or uncheck, we have to cross check whether it is already. If you want to select, we have to cross check whether it is already selected or not. If not selected, then only we have to click on it. Right, but radio button, if we click multiple times, nothing will happen. But checkbox, we must be very careful. How do you verify if a button is enabled or disabled? Right, E is enabled. Right, we can call driver.findElement is enabled. If it is enabled, it will return true, otherwise false. How do you do right click? How do you handle right click? Right, we have to use the actions class. We have to use the actions class. Then driver.findElement actions.context click on the element. We have to use the context click. We can expect this question also. Actions.context click on the element dot perform. Right. In latest version, we don't need build and perform. We don't need to call inside perform method. Build already is there. Right. Actions dot context click on element perform. How do you do double click? Right. Same thing. Actions class we can use actions element, find out the element on which element we want to double click. Actions dot double click on the element perform. Simple. Context click means right click. Double click means it will click double click. We can also click single click also we can use if normal click is not working. How do you fetch all the links from a web page? Right, this is one more interesting question we can expect. Driver.findElements by .tag name we can get all the links. Then we can iterate and get attribute of href tag. Right, additionally they will ask how you will validate each link is working or not. We have to send the HTTP client by using, we can send a request to that URL, we can find out whether 200 is responding or not. Right, I will explain in the next section, next set of questions. Maybe I will get that question also. What is the fluent wait and how do you implement? Fluent wait, right, little bit syntax was lengthy, we have to remember. Right, we have to wait WebDriver, we have to pass generic parameter WebDriver, new fluent wait, and then pass the driver object. Then with the timeout, what is the maximum timeout we have to wait? We have to give polling every, right, polling every, it will wait for 30 seconds. Then each 5 seconds I want to verify web page whether element is available or not. Right, polling means every 5 seconds it will verify in the application. Right, ignore no such element exception. Until 30 seconds ignore this exception. We can add multiple ignores also. Right, then wait dot until driver lambda expression we can use, or expected conditions dot we can use, or function also we can write. This is a function. Driver dot find element by id. Right, it will wait until 30 seconds, and then if it is not found until after 30 seconds also, what will happen? Timeout exception we will get. How do you handle stale element exception? Stale means what? Right, it is the old one. Stale means old. Right, element is not available in the DOM. Because of what? DOM may be refreshed. Suppose you are clicking on one element, DOM is refreshed. What will happen? Remaining element becomes stale. Right, if you try to do action on it, what will happen? Stale element exception. How do you handle in those such cases? Suppose I am clicking on this. Right, stale element is came. We can do catch block, we can handle, or we can use, suppose if it is happening multiple times, then we can use for loop. Right, for loop we can ignore this, right, then we can click on it. Right, how do you switch to iframe? Right, we can switch in multiple ways. Right, driver dot switch to frame either by using index or id name, by id name, or we can use locator also, right? We can use switch to frame by using index or by id name or web element. If we want to switch back to default content, that means main page, driver dot switch to default content. Default content. Sometimes we'll confuse about window and frames, right? In window, in frames only we will have switch to default content, or if we want to switch to parent frame, you are in a child frame, you want to switch to parent, we can switch driver dot switch to parent, right? How do you switch between multiple frames, right? By using index, by using IDR name, by using web element. These are the different things. If we have a nested elements, suppose if we have a nested elements, right, that is nested frames, sorry, nested frame. Just I will give you some example. Suppose I have like this, right, nested frames, right. We have to, right, interview also may be asked like this only, right? Suppose these are all the frames. I want to click on the element here. I want to click on the, suppose there is a element here, button here, I want to click here. First, right, directly we cannot switch to inner frame. First we have to switch to parent, then child, then only we can click on it. But while coming back directly we can come back. Default content we can use driver dot switch to default content, we can come to main page. Right, if we want to switch to child to parent, we can switch driver dot switch to, right, parent. Right, driver dot switch to parent we can use. Right, this is how we can expect this interview question also. Right, if you like my way of teaching, please subscribe, comment it out, like, share. Right, if you have any questions or more details, in-depth details, if you want any question, please comment it out. I will explain in the next session. Right, thanks for watching.